What up, Skate? Welcome to Bar Vibes with Bryce the Fourth, giving out raw reaction and interacting with the masses. No subject is safe. You hear the people and the noise, but that's the point, because without the people, what is the point? Embrace some vibrations. First and foremost, you Shanka season is back. Couldn't wait. I could wait. It's getting a little chilly out there, but hey, gotta get it done. Nice and warm up here. It actually is weird because the last time I had a U-Shanker on, my locks were longer, so, feels weird, but head's still warm, ears warm, feet warm, stay warm. So as you know, if you don't, then you will. The Eagles have been in a gauntlet of teams. We were supposed to be in trouble. Weird, right? Weird how that happens. Eagles Bills. It was a rainy, windy, very cold game. If you were there all day or you were tailgating, you understand. And just like the previous two games prior to this, the Eagles are losing by double digits at halftime. 17-7, which was the same thing that happened last week against the Chiefs. Do you think they lost? I know they did not. Josh Allen put the kudos to the Bills, and I've said this multiple times on this show. The Bills, other than the Eagles, are my favorite fan base. I knew that people were going to go tailgate. Like, it wasn't as busy where I was watching the game as it normally is, because a lot of people wanted to go see these two teams play. More so, they wanted to see, they more so wanted to see, the fans interact with each other, which is fire. I wish I could have gone. I knew it was going to rain. I don't do the whole be wet in the rain thing all the time. That's neither here nor there. The Bills jumped on the Eagles. They did not have a good first half. I do believe that they need to run the ball more when you're starting the game. DeAndre Swift was fresh as ever, and they learned towards the end of the game. But coaching for good teams is very important. So for the Eagles, they go into halftime knowing this is what we're doing wrong. This is what we do need to fix it, and they do it. They execute. AJ Brown didn't have this monstrous game that he was having the first 6 or 7 straight weeks of the season, but he didn't need to, because you got Slim Reaper Batman back there doing his thing. Even Dallas Goedert, not here. No Lane Johnson. And they find ways to win games when you count them out the most. Bills did a good job of exploiting the middle of the secondary. Safety plays a little weird. I feel like we do need a middle linebacker that can chase down, receivers running across the middle. And like I said, at the end of the game, they found ways to make plays solely because their quarterback, the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is a silent assassin. He never gets too high. He never gets too low. It's always, this is what we need to do, and we're going to do it. The reports of Jordan Phillips, he's the D tackle for the Bills. He's jumping the line on the QB sneak that we always do. I don't want to call it anything else but what it is. It's a football play. It's a quarterback sneak. You can give it all the nicknames that you want. That's not me. I don't really care. But he's jumping, and he's purposely being offsides, but he's not like pulling himself back. He's running through our guards and our tackles, and that's purposeful. That's a fine. I don't care what you say. It's a penalty. It's a fine. I hope they go back and look at it. End of the day, though, I don't care what you say. Yeah, they were down, at halftime 3 games in a row to really good teams that are leading their division. Did they win? Yes. That's what good teams do. You name me another team in the league right now that has double-digit wins, other than the Eagles. Yeah, you can't because there isn't any. 10-1. That's how you get it done. Bars. Let's go, Birds. Bears Vikings. The Vikings had a chance to gain some ground in their division because, and I'll get to this later, the Lions are not playing, the same way they were playing in the beginning of the season. The Bears defense has improved greatly over the last month. They're 4-4 in the last 8, and this was the Vikings' chance to get a game up in the division, and it was also a chance for the Bears, who are the Bears tanking? I feel like they're trying to win games to prove to their staff, prove to their players that this can be a winning team next year or maybe in the next 2 years. I mean, they didn't have any offensive touchdowns. Justin Fields had 2 back-breaking fumbles, and they came out with the win because their defense is really good. Josh Dobbs with the four picks and a fumble. You're giving the game away at this point. 5 turnovers in a game. I'd say like 95% chance you're going to lose. But luckily for the Vikings, they get Justin Jefferson back off IR this week. But at the same time, this was the Vikings' chance to try to gain a leg up because what happened to the Lions, which I will talk about later. Ravens Chargers. Very boring game until the fourth quarter. It was just like back and forth, field position. It was like 13-3 going on in the fourth quarter. I can't remember the last time I actually was watching a Ravens game where Justin Tucker missed a field goal, which is wild. And the Chargers are fucking overrated, man. Justin Herbert does not have a winning record in this league over 4 seasons. 5, I think. 4, 5. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't have a winning record. If you watched football previously before the Justin Herbert era, this is what the Chargers were before, where they have a good offense, defense, but they're teetering on, are they good? Are they bad? They make the playoffs, or they just miss by a game. It has to be either the GM or the owner calling the shots when the shots don't need to be called. Don't know what it is. Chargers lost this game. It was 20-10. Lamar Jackson is still in the MVP hunt. Good for him. But again, it was just a boring-ass game. It really was. Browns-Broncos. Shout out to the Broncos for winning 5 straight. I did not see this coming. Mr. Unlimited, I'll even call him by his name, Russell Wilson. Looking like Russell Wilson of old. Older, not old. He's not old, but he's looking like prime Seattle Seahawks Russell Wilson. He looks more comfortable now. He's comfortable getting out of the pocket, which is what he does best. He's at his best when he is able to do that. And now his receivers are getting open. They're trusting him, throwing them open. But I do believe that the Browns win this game if they have a competent quarterback. I mean, you're not going to win this game with P.J. Walker. It's just not going to happen. And then at the same time, I don't know what direction the Broncos are trying to go at this point because they didn't make any moves at the trade deadline because they thought they were going to be losing these games, and then all of a sudden they're not. So you didn't add anybody to help. So it's just like man on everybody, every man on deck. Joe Flacco being on the Browns practice squad. It's funny because he's not gonna wow you with his arm. I mean, he's almost retired. But if you can give the illusion of him maybe throwing it downfield for a long touchdown or handing it off 30 times a game, they might be able to squeak, a couple games out of here for the rest of the year. But it was all Broncos all day. Chiefs Raiders. When I didn't watch the entire game, I didn't see the beginning of the game, but I saw a headline and was like, Chiefs overcome a 14-point lead to win the game. So then I watched it. They got scored on 14-0. Well, yeah, if you have and I'm not even gonna quote unquote him. If you have the best quarterback in the league, you should come out in the second half with adjustments and win the game, which is what they did. The Raiders, they're just not good. Yeah, I know they had these back-to-back wins with the interim head coach. I get it. I understand that. But you're playing the best team in the division, and their coaching, Andy Reid and company, are just good enough to make these changes where we're going to beat you. We know what you're doing. We see it. You're not good. It's fine. The Chiefs did their job. Again, another straightforward game where you shouldn't have been, if you were a Chiefs fan, you shouldn't have been worried. The run by the Raiders, by Josh Jacobs, was fire. Because if you look at the play, the guard and the tight end pulled both, and it was just a straight shot. And then he stiff-armed the shit out of the safety. He should be embarrassed. That man's got a family. That sucks. That sucks. But other than that, there was no highlights for them. Chiefs pull it out 31-17, and then that's just straightforward. Rams-Cardinals. The Cardinals only led once in this game, and that was when it was 8-7, and that was because they won for two because they don't have anything to lose. I mean, the season's pretty much over for them. Kyler Murray looks like he's starting to get into shape. Too little, too late. Bars. The Rams, at this point, look like they're trying to get the 7th seed in the NFC, and they're doing a good job of that. Matt Stafford looks a little bit healthier than he did in the beginning of the season, and after it was 8-7, the Rams just railed off 31 straight. Easy cheese. Louise. The Rams, if they continue on this path, they could very well get it, especially with the Vikings losing last. Like that, it's crazy. Jags Texans. Other than the Eagles game, this was my favorite game of the week. It was a nice shootout for two young QBs with C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. I figure with them playing in the same division, this is going to be something to look forward to in the moving forward in the next couple years. Trevor Lawrence looks healthier than he did in the beginning of the season because Doug Peterson alluded to the fact that he had a knee injury, which no one reported. That is against the rules. I'm sure they're going to look into that, but it's not a big deal. And I think that C.J. Stroud might sit in the pocket a little bit more than he should. I think he could run a little bit more, and he might give his team better chances on second and third to get a first down because it feels like he's trying to tell people, hey, I'm a pocket quarterback passer, when you don't really necessarily need to be in this NFL these days. Yeah, in like early 2000s, like you needed a Tom Brady or you needed a Drew Brees to be able to sit there. He doesn't need to do that. But he has also openly said, I'm not a big runner of the football, which is okay. But there are times where it's like, you might want to run. That missed field goal at the end of the game, it barely, I've never seen a kick go so straight. Like if you see the crossbar and then the up beam that holds it, it hit it right on the nail. And it bounced back. It was a great game. Battle between two teams that are fighting. I would have never thought that the Texans would be fighting for anything right now. I thought it was just going to be, hey, let's build C.J. Stroud, go into the offseason and get some weapons. But no, Texans are battling. But shout out to the Jags. I mean, you got a Super Bowl head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach. You should be doing this right now. Panthers, Titans. Bryce Young. He is having a worse rookie season than Peyton Manning in his rookie season, where Peyton Manning threw the most interceptions for a rookie ever. He's not doing that right now, but he just doesn't look like the person that they talked about in the entire offseason. The Panthers owner is delusional, and he keeps reiterating the fact that they chose the right person. If you look at C.J. Stroud and you look at Bryce Young right now, I don't think you did. Frank Reich gets fired 11 games into the season. Second time he's been fired in 2 years. That's not good. But for the Titans, I wasn't sure that they were going to win the game the way they did, but they did. Derrick Henry he was probably the only bright spot for the Titans. He was running people over. He got his speed burst. He was running through tackles on the goal line. Titans pull out the win. But the biggest story from this is that the Panthers need to, figure out how to get a receiver on your team, because you gave away your only one. And then also, you don't have a first-round pick. That pick belongs to the Bears. What are you going to do to build this team back up next year? The jury is out. Bucks Colts. Shane Steichen, look at you. Surprisingly doing a good job. Your number one quarterback pick goes down. You had to put in Gardner Minshew. And you're winning games. You're missing Shaq Leonard. Shout out to Daniel, because I told you to trade him to us earlier in the season. You said no, and now he potentially will be coming to the Eagles. So if you're listening to this, appreciate you, my boy. I know he's on a down skid of his career, but he's a viable option at middle linebacker. Baker Mayfield, yet again, mediocre, 3 turnovers, and the Bucs have just been on a down skid since Tom Brady left. And if I'm a Bucs fan, I care because I'm a Bucs fan, but I mean, you just won a Super Bowl not even 3 years ago, so it happens. But at the end of the day, the Colts are doing just enough every week to get some wins. Have a good night, my boy. Saints Falcons. The Falcons finally used Bijan Robinson. Man was catching the rock. I think he had over 140 yards on like 22 carries. Desmond Ridder is not the answer for the Falcons. He had a terrible red zone pick. Terrible. And the Saints don't, like most teams, have an identity. Here we find the NFC South with their leader at 5-6. 5 wins right now are winning you the division in the NFC South. Pitiful. But got to get the wins when you can get them. Another game where it was just like, what does this mean? Nothing. The most boring game of the week, Patriots-Giants. I was at my local watering hole watching this, and I just kept looking up like, oh, what's going on here? It was just nothing happening. Mac Jones got benched again, and then they put in Bailey Zappi, who also is terrible. And they still had a chance to win this game. The Patriots did, and they missed a 35-yard field goal. That is pitiful. If you are a fan of either one of these teams and you watched it, I am sorry that you pissed away that much time of your life, because it was boring. Awful. Steelers-Bengals. We knew going into this game that without Joe Burrow, the Bengals are going to lose. I don't care who the fuck they got out there. Their backups are trash. They do have skill position players, but they only thrive because Joe Burrow is really fucking good. The only hope that they had, the Bengals, is because Pittsburgh's offense is fucking terrible, even when they got rid of Matt Canada. And then Steelers win 16-10 and keep themselves in playoff contention in their division, because the Bengals are out of it and the Ravens lost early. So it's a one game difference here. So it's going to come down to the head-to-head between Bengals and Ravens. I'm sorry, the Ravens and the Steelers. But the Steelers just can't throw the football. It's weird. George Pickens getting angry at every goddamn play. Ravens are going to have to win this game next week, unless they're on the bye. I haven't checked. To try to pull away from the Steelers, because the Steelers, they keep winning. They might win this fucking division. Dolphins, Jets. Come on, man. We all knew it was going to happen. The Jets had Tim Boyle starting. my favorite story from this is I was watching this game with my girl and my dad, and they were on the 52nd quarter, about to go into halftime, and they were going to throw it. And they go, well, what do they have to lose? And I was like, a lot. And little do you know, Tim Boyle's weak-ass arm can't get it into the end zone. A pick six at the end of the second quarter. When does that ever happen? Never. I've never seen it happen. And because all of the skill players were in the end zone, yeah, I'm going to outrun all of these fucking linemen and your bitch-ass fucking quarterback. Easy cheese. Now, the thing about it is that when the Dolphins do this, when they beat up on teams like this, people start talking like, hey, the Dolphins could be really good. Nah, stop this. They're winning the games that they're supposed to, and they're losing the games that they should in order to be a good team. Don't want to hear it. They haven't beaten anybody significant, but the Jets are just ass. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't sit his ass down, Mister, I'm trying to save the day. You're not going to save this team. It's done. Get yourself better and let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Niners Seahawks. C-Mac is a beast, and he's still hurt, by the way. He has an abdominal or oblique injury. He's playing through it. Had 2 touchdowns, and you can see it like when he gets tackled, he'll like lay on the ground a little bit because it fucking hurts. Duh. And Brandon Ayuk, the receiver for the Niners, he looks like he's trying to put himself in the top 10, top 12 status of receivers because he catches balls, and he gets hit, and he hangs on to him. He is their number one. I'll give him that. He is a number one receiver. It took me a minute to really like grasp that because when he was on the Jags, he was not very good. But that was probably because the quarterback wasn't that very good. The beginning of the season, I guess I say 6 or 7 games in, they were saying like the Seahawks could be in the running and they could possibly win the division. No. Middle tier. Geno, not that great. Seahawks have beaten no one. That was a great question, though. No one. Seahawks have beaten no one. Geno is, he is the definition of, he's not going to do anything great for you, but he's not going to fuck up the game for you. You just got to have some things go your way. And they didn't have that in this game because the Niners are a top-tier team. I looked before the second half, and I thought, oh, the Seahawks might win. No, didn't win the game. And the Niners play a really good team this week, so we'll see how good they are. Commanders Cowboys. Boobah! Hey, Boobah. Wow, look at that. Hooray! The Cowboys beat another shitty-ass goddamn team. We're very happy about that, right? It was actually close in the first half. Sam Howell, he puts his body on the line, especially on like goal line runs. That man will fucking run through anybody. And then we get Dak Prescott, Prescott, stat padding again. I actually did like this, and I watch football for things like this. I love seeing like records be broken. Deron Bland, he gets his 5th pick 6. Probably has more touchdowns than like 50 receivers in the league right now, which is cool. And I mean, there was nothing really to talk about this game. They beat a really bad team. Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys, comes out on his radio show and says that he wished that his team could be as lucky and pull out wins like the Eagles do. Good teams worry about the next opponent. Bad teams worry about the people that are beating them. Worry about your own fucking team, bro. Don't worry about this. Rent free in this man's head. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Don't worry about it. Packers Lions. Very shocking loss for the Lions, especially because it was a division loss when they could have pulled away from the Vikings. Again, like I said earlier, who lost? They could be vying for a third or a fourth seed, and they lost to a Packers team who will not be close to winning this division. It's going to be between the Lions and the Vikings. And then you give up a win for the Vikings even though they lost. Jared Goff has just got costly turnovers. A pick, 2 fumbles. What are we doing here, Jared? The Lions are not a play from behind team. They're a let's get out in front, run the football a little bit, maybe get in the red zone, kick 3 or 4 field goals, and let's get out of the building and call it a day. That's not what they got. And the hilarious thing was that I forgot that Simone Biles, her husband plays for the Packers. I totally forgot about that. When I heard it on the broadcast, I was like, what? Oh, yeah, I looked it up, and I was like, oh, shit, yeah, he does. Lions, you squandered away a chance, man. You did. You hate to see it. Other than that, people keep asking me when I'm watching basketball, like, hey, how does this play-in tournament work? You and me both don't know. I look at the standings. I know that it's 3 teams out of each plus a wild card. They're trying to do the points thing like in football or soccer, as some people would say. But when you look at the records and stuff, you're like, I don't fucking know. I have no idea. Other than that, in sports, I don't have much to talk about. Baseball's not on. Hockey, I'm happy that the Flyers actually have a winning record right now. And Manchester United, you are fucking ass. You are just giving the Champions League away. You lost to Galatasaray today. Sorry, they didn't lose. They drew. They were up 3-1 with 30 minutes to go, and they're in last place. They're not getting out of that division, and that sucks. You lost to Turkey. Hate to see it. But anywho, big ups to the first state. Stay focused and be great. Take a sip. Much love from the kid. Enjoy your day. Enjoy life. Stay focused. Stay chill. Now is the time for you to put your Christmas up tree. Now is the time for you to decorate. Now is the time to put your lights up, put the music on, all of that. If your tree was up before Thanksgiving, you are a goddamn demon. Go Birds.